I love watching old sci-fi predict the future, especially when we are living in a time that is well past their prediction date. Welcome to Creepin' It Real. Thanks for joining me. I'm Judah. We're talking about 1967's Quatermass and the Pit. Now, this is a Hammer film, and I have mentioned in the past that I have somewhat of a soft spot for Hammer films. There's just something about the tone, and this one definitely carries that same tone that I tend to enjoy. I didn't initially realize that Quatermass and the Pit was actually the third installment of a trilogy. So we have the Quatermass Experiment, we have Quatermass 2, and we have Quatermass and the Pit. There was meant to be a fourth installment, but it never got off the ground. The first two films were directed by the same person. The title character of Quatermass was played by the same actor. Quatermass and the Pit was meant to come out in '61, but there was a lot of production hell that it went through, and it ended up getting put on the back burner well into '67. And by the time that it finally got around to, Hammer finally got around to getting this out, the original director and actor were not available. So this film has a totally new director and actor in it. The core story isn't exactly original, for modern standards. What we have is construction work going on in the London Underground, and they come across a burial site or something. Immediately they stop so that there can be an archaeological dig. Now they get an archaeologist out there, and he's looking at the height and stuff, and he's saying that they're like ancient ape men. And as they're doing this dig, they end up coming across metal object. So they immediately stop, they evacuate everybody. They think that it's a leftover bomb from Germany that did not explode from World War II. This is where we get introduced to our title character, Quatermass. He is meant to be heading up a project colonizing the moon. He's basically being told, okay, you're still involved, but now this military guy, he's going to be in charge, and they're going to be military bases. He's supposed to be the head of new missile technologies, and he's really frustrated. And he's like, no, we need to colonize. This shouldn't be about war. And basically, he can either F off or he can stay involved, his choice. So as they're discussing this, and this is the part that I like. Now, this is supposed to be late 50s, early 60s. Like I said, it was originally supposed to be coming out in '61, and it was supposed to be of that time period. As they're having this discussion about it going from colony to military base, they say with certainty and conviction, we will have bases on the moon within 10 years. Because here we are, 2026, not a single base to be found on the moon. So when I say I enjoy that kind of a thing, it really just tickles me to see that future past view. In the past, what they're looking forward to, what at that time they think is a certainty. Anyway, we get this military involved because they think there's this bomb that has not exploded, and they need to get the military in there to disarm this bomb. They start clearing it away, doing tests on it, and they're like, this is weird. This isn't metal. We don't hear any ticking. We're not sure this is really a bomb. Well, they do more excavating, and it is a spacecraft. This goes into another reason why I like this. The design of this spaceship is so of its time back in the 50s and 60s, something that they would think was futuristic looking. I just love the retro feel of it. It's just so fun to me. So the story continues. They're trying to get into it. The whole thing dissolves. This path dissolves, and it reveals somewhat of a honeycomb shaped object. And in each one of these honeycombs is what looks to be huge ass styrofoam grasshoppers. But to them, they're like, okay, this is clearly alien life. And I would have to agree with them. They invite all this press down to check out this spaceship. As they're doing it, they're hooking up lights. They're running all these lights and electrical stuff through a generator. The lines from the generator touch the spaceship. So now the spaceship is getting charged, and it's sending out this signal, and the people in the city are all going mad. What becomes one of the best spectacles of this movie is as this spaceship is emitting this energy, it projects a huge image of one of these Martians. but it doesn't give great detail. It's very like just rudimentary detail. And so what it looks like is this massive image of Satan hovering in the sky. And honestly, it was very impressive to me. I really liked it. So they come up with this plan. It discharges the energy. You know, hooray, we saved the day. The guy who plays the military man who was put in charge of disarming this and fully believed that this was some kind of a German psyop thing. I kept looking at him as I watched this and I was like, I am getting a heavy Nazi vibe from this guy. Why? I just realized he was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He was teaming up with the Nazis to find the, what do they call that? Anyway, the cup that caught Christ's blood. He was the first guy to go in there and take a sip, and he turned into dust. He got pushed away. And the knight that said he chose poorly. What's funny to me is in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, he just gets fried and obliterated. And in this movie, after the discharge of this energy is pulsating from this ship, and he gets fried in this movie as well. But of the two movies I've seen, this guy has a bad habit of making bad choices and getting fried. I found that very funny. Now, for those of you who like revisiting movies that were from your childhood, this could definitely be a fun one to rewatch or visit for the first time. Now, this is well before my time, so there is no kind of nostalgia for me regarding this. But as I've mentioned, I love watching past movies, seeing those practical effects, seeing how they envision the future. That's a real pull for me and my soft spot in my heart for the Hammer films. For those of you who are more in tuned or prefer modern horror, I don't think this is going to pull its weight with you. Knowing that, it is also interesting to me how as we advance as humans and technology advances and things get more realistic looking and how filmmakers push things further and further, it's very interesting to see how back in the time, further back, very minimal things could trick people. And little things could put fear into people. I mean, we had the War of the Worlds, where it was just a book being read on the radio and people were freaking out. So we look at this and we laugh and we're like, how do people get scared? How is this considered a horror movie? Yeah, well, our modern brains have been conditioned so much that we just don't find those things interesting. But I wonder, like in 10 years from now, with AI, how desensitized will we become? Or will we become so in tuned to fakeness that we can't experience any true emotion anymore? Very interesting thought to me at this point. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. And I want to hear from you what old sci-fi or horror movie, it doesn't even have to be sci-fi or horror. It could be any old movie. What future predictions had they made that have not come true? I want to hear what your favorite prediction is from old movies, what you look at and how you laugh at it, or even your amazement at how accurately they predicted the future. If you leave those in the comments, I'd love to hear that. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're a champion. You get a gold star. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm Judah. This has been Creepin' It Real, and I'll talk to you later.